This is the 22nd season of Bass Talk Live. BTL is presented by Bass Cat Boats, Strike King Lures, Aftco, Pro Guide Batteries, Spro, Gamakatsu, The Bass Tank, Beatdown Outdoors, and Sunline.
BTL coming at you.
Good morning and welcome to another exciting edition of BTL Bass Talk Live, where we're going to talk about bass fishing. And if you notice, typically when I start the show, I usually have like a coffee or an energy drink. We're on Diet Coke this morning. If you watch the last 5 minutes of John Bondi's show yesterday, I had like caffeine overload, started sweating profusely. I felt so bad because I wanted to talk to Bondi for like another 30, 45 minutes. If you watch the last 5, you'll see like I start going like this with my shirt. I start doing this. I start trying. I called him after and I said, dude, I drank too many energy drinks. I said, first time ever, as soon as the show was over, like literally as the show ended, I like ran into the bathroom and puked my guts up because it was 8 a.m. and I'd had like 9,000 milligrams of caffeine. Just a warning for y'all. You might want to add some protein in there. The youngsters don't have to worry about that these days. We got one on today. We have Logan Greeno, a very I like this. He's a kid. I like he's an adult. I mean, he could go fight for our country, so he's an adult and he can vote and legally buy alcohol. So he's an adult, but he's still a kid. But we're going to dive into this because he seems like a kid with a good head on his shoulders. Owns a small company, a little bit of philanthropy mixed in there, social media aspect, can catch them, lives and fishes in kind of a non-traditional part of the country. So we're going to really dive into how Gen Z sees the sport of bass fishing in 2026. Not how us, the guys who've been talking about it forever, fish professionally for 30 years, or our industry insiders talking about it, like the guys that are in it right now, that are living the dream in the prime of their life. I still consider myself at 41 in the prime of my life, but I mean, I fished for OU. I remember what it was like, the road trips, 6, 7 guys to a room, but it's a little bit different story now. It's a pretty serious deal. So we're going to, in the next week, really unwrap what went down on the BPT, try to get Justin Lucas on, maybe a Jacob Wheeler, maybe a Zach Birch, just kind of depends on what schedules are like. I do feel a little bit vindicated. If you look at Taku's social media, pretty sure he sent his boat on the same flat that I got stuck on in the Bass Nation on Champlain on day one, except I think his boat's still there. He got stuck overnight. Robert G had to go get him, stake him in, and they left the boat to the next morning. So I don't feel like such an idiot for getting it stuck up there on an hour. But we have breaking news. We got a new bass cat that's sitting out front. I got a video for it. Let's bring in today's guest, Logan Greeno. What's up, dude?
Nothing much. Thanks for having me, man. It's exciting.
Yeah, you probably don't ever, at 22, you probably don't have to worry about caffeine overload in the morning. You probably just rip her out with a couple 20 mil Zins and some Red Bulls that you just down in one shot, right?
More of a monster guy, white monster, but today...
You're a white monster guy.
Yes. Hopefully we don't run it back with what you experienced the other day. My girlfriend got me this. It's a caramel apple Alani. Not a fan.
You're not a fan of the caramel apple. I had seen the Alani. So here's a confession. I'm an energy drink guy. I have never tried a white monster.
Oh my. You've got to, dude. We kind of connected with Monster this past year at UNL. And dude, it's scary how many some of these guys go through. My buddy Josh, I mean, it's insane. He'll drink like 3 a day. It's not good, but yeah, white monsters on top.
I got buddy Kevin Ledoux who fished the Elite Series. I fish with him around here locally too now, and he's got like a mint Phoenix, his Phoenix that is up for sale. We just put it for sale, but that dude 6-pack of Red Bull every tournament day. Now they're not the like 12 ounces, they're the like 10 ounces, but that's 60 ounces of Red Bull spread evenly over an 8-hour period. That can't be good for that cannot be good for your system. I was talking with you before while we're on the food topic. I don't know if I got into the algorithm and then I clicked on it and then I watched it, so now it shows up ever. But the Smackin' Sunflower, I was so excited. So I picked up the Bass Cat yesterday, and they're on my security system. It was like someone's at your front door, and I was like, "Please be the sunflower seeds." I got suckered into buying the Smackin' Sunflower seeds. Do these things show up like every third post on your Instagram?
Yeah, for sure. I've even got a buddy that's been promoting them on TikTok Shop, and I'm pretty sure they sell them like by the 5-gallon bucket now. It's crazy.
Is he making money at it?
Oh yeah. Well, I'd like to
Your
talk
buddy?
about that actually, because I'd like to talk about that a little bit because I started promoting some stuff on TikTok Shop too. It's pretty crazy, but this kid went from being a normal college kid in my fraternity with me, one of my best buddies, and he promotes all sorts of products, not just sunflower seeds, but he's made like $250,000 since January solely off of TikTok Shop. Just a regular college kid.
So like when you see the guys that are on there that are like, "I tried this new Smackin' Sunflower seed, blah, blah, blah." And then they like chew them to get your attention to like, and then boom. And then you like click on that and then you click on that link. Then that's like an affiliate link.
Yes. Yeah. So then they get commission if they've got the little orange cart down there. Yep.
Interesting. So I finally tried them. So like if you go to like a Shields or a couple gas stations, they try them now, and they're like cool flavors. Like my favorite that's a standard flavor would probably be cinnamon churro. Like, do you have a favorite? You have a favorite Smackin' flavor? This is not sponsored. I ain't getting no money on TikTok Shop for this. This is just me excited that something came in the mail last night.
Yeah, cinnamon churro is probably on top for me. It like you wouldn't really think of like a sweet sunflower seed. At least I normally am not, more of a savory guy. But I tried jalapeno cheddar the other day. That one's pretty good too.
I was afraid they were gonna sell out. I literally this is how marketing works. I had probably seen 100 of them, 100 ads. Then I saw them in the store. So I bought a bunch of them in the store because I had seen them and I didn't want to order them. But it had been like 6 months since they started spamming the market with the Smackin' Sunflower Seeds ads. And now that I'm saying it, everybody who's watching and listening to this on their phone, it's going to show up on their phone too, the more I say it.
For sure.
I ended up getting the s'mores flavor.
Oh my gosh, I haven't seen those ones.
Dude, I don't think they're available anymore. It was like a 3-day. They are like the koiki of the Smackin' flavors, and then this is like the Scuppernon koiki of the Smackin' flavors, but s'mores. So I'm trying to be a little bit healthier. I may or may not have spent some years doing not. Let's just say this replaces a lot of bad things you can do while you're fishing. And then this is the second one, and this one's bad to the bone. I tried this at midnight last night when I got home. The sweet Thai chili.
Ooh, that sounds good,
dude. So it takes like about a week and a half, 2 weeks for them to come. I got 6 bags of each. I am set for the EQs for the Smackin' Sunflower Seeds. I was happier than like when a fishing bait came. I don't know why, but I was all about the Smackin' Sunflower Seeds.
Yeah, they've got some interesting ways to market those things. Like, and I know a lot of them are fake, but I'll see videos and they're like, "We're coming out with a toothpaste flavored sunflower seed," and we're like, What are we doing? And it's just to get people to look at it, look at the branding, but it's crazy some of the things they come up with.
Is anybody doing that in the fishing game? Like, are there any companies or businesses that you're aware of that are in like the TikTok Shop fishing space like that, where they're, instead of saying, "Hey, we're going to put our name on this guy's jersey and boat and stuff, we're going to do this kind of virality, take these kids with big followings across social media, get them to do cool stuff on the lake with it, click on it, and give them a percentage of it"? I mean, like, take that model, but then take it to fish. Like, do you think that would work in the fishing space, or is it not big enough? Oh, I just lost your audio again. I don't know why. For some reason, it clicks off of. You might have to jump back out and jump back in.
Got me
There
now?
you go. Yeah, I got you now.
Okay.
Is anyone doing that in the fishing space? Like any companies?
I mean, I'm sure it's out there, and I'm trying to think right now off the top of my head, but I mean, just like non-traditional marketing, whether it's like you're just rage baiting to get views or stuff, like surely that's got to be out there. But I'm trying to think, I don't think there's anything as crazy as the sunflower seeds.
That's interesting. All right. This is one of the cool reasons why I wanted to get you on. You are right in the middle of everything like bass fishing, right? You're a collegiate angler. You fish for Nebraska.
Yep.
The Cornhusker State.
Yep.
You are a small bait company owner with Revived Bait Company, and we'll talk about that. And that was kind of how I got to know you. You did some stuff where you run it back and with St. Jude and donating and things like that. You're also I feel like you're and this is just me, like once I met you and stuff, you're an undervalued content creator. Like you do stuff that I feel like is like, I don't know, maybe you're like huge on TikTok, but I feel like you should have like 250,000 followers on like Instagram. Like you do like really good stuff. You do like inspirational stuff. You do funny stuff. You do like the stuff that's real. You do the fish catching stuff. Like it's not all just curated. Like you really put your personality into it, and you aspire for this to be your career in the industry, on the water, something along those lines. So
Sure.
Am I right when you click all 4 of those boxes?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
All right, so let's dive into the reality as a 22-year-old in college in 2026, what the fishing industry looks like. First of all, how did you end up at Nebraska fishing for the college team?
So I'm originally from Nebraska. I don't think there's a whole lot of people that are coming to, at least a few years ago, there was nobody coming from out of state to fish for Nebraska.
Yep.
When I first got at Nebraska, and I know you kind of helped start your college fishing club, right?
Yep.
Back in late 2000s, but so we probably
2006, 2000. Chip Porcher was the first guy, and he ended up fishing the Elite Series. Literally, Facebook was college only, and I had in my profile that I liked fishing. So he did a search on who liked fishing in their profiles that went to the University of Oklahoma, messaged me. That's how the club started in 2006.
Awesome.
He was still a senior at, I think, Bixby High School. And then he ended up making the Elite Series in 2013 and now has a great career with Dynamic. So anyway, side note, but yes, was a founding member, but was not the origin idea.
Yeah. So my hometown is like smack dab right in the middle of Nebraska, Kearney, Nebraska. So, grew up just fun fishing around, private ponds, asking for permission, sneaking in a couple times probably, just pond hopping. It's really all we have in Nebraska, but that's kind of how it got started for me. And prior to that, my grandparents lived out in western Nebraska, which is actually where my mom moved to once I got to college, just a little further west, about an hour and 30 on the interstate down in North Platte. And so down there, fairly close to a bunch of good walleye fisheries.
Okay.
And so it's kind of how I got started, was just going out with my dad, going out with my grandpa at a young age, walleye fishing from the boat or from the bank. And then I found out bass existed early middle school or late elementary school. And I was like, what? You can catch them on topwater? Like, this is awesome. So we just, from the age of like late elementary school all throughout middle school, I just loved pond hopping, asking for permission to fish ponds, catching big bass, Nebraska big bass. So just fell in love with it. Got introduced to high school fishing through Kearney High School. The Kearney Bass Cats was our club name, and got involved with that. Started fishing high school tournaments, and by the time I was junior and senior we were winning all of our 8-boat high school tournaments. We thought we were the shit, and and started qualifying for some big like national tournaments in high school. Of course, now they're like 410 boats a tournament. Back then it was upwards of 300 for those national tournaments, and just absolutely fell in love with traveling to catch bass. And so when it came time to go to college, I actually looked up to one of my best buddies, Hunter Sushland. He actually owns a small business and started through the same program I started Revived through. And he was 4 grades older than me. So right as he was leaving, I was coming in, and he was a huge asset to have. Got me introduced to Nebraska at UNL for the Bass Fishing Club. And we've grown the club a lot since then. But that's how I got to Nebraska. And back then, like I said, there wasn't a whole lot of people coming to college solely to fish. And now the program, where it's at now, we've got people from California, Texas, all over the place coming to Nebraska to be on the fishing team. So that's pretty cool.
Were you guys big Milliken guys? Because I mean, he was like around Nebraska too. Like, I mean, that dude had to be like, he had to be at all the best spots in Nebraska.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I'll have to go back and look at some of the older videos, because he fished some lakes in Nebraska I fish now, and I mean, he cracked them at some of these places. Lots changed, but some of those places still are definitely really good. He had videos in Nebraska, a bunch on his YouTube channel dating back, I don't know, 10 years ago or more probably. But yeah, he actually was a guest speaker at one of our meetings last year. So that was pretty cool. We got to have him jump on a call and ask him questions, and that was pretty neat. So we're fairly connected since then. He fishes some of the small tournaments around us. I've talked to him a few times sinse that meeting, but definitely cool to have somebody like that in the industry coming from Nebraska.
So I'm thinking back. So I went to JUCO, but my first year at OU, when I fished for OU, I was playing on the club hockey team and stuff, like starting a business, thinking about what was happening after that. And I was older than you. I was like, I was your age, and because I went to JUCO. That was not top on my priority list, Logan. And I did a little bit of research, and you talk about college fishing and preparing guys for it. But I think I would love for you to talk me through kind of the genesis of Revived Bait Company, because that was like a combination of the high school fishing, which led you to college fishing, which led you to the University of Nebraska to be a Cornhusker. And then also there was like an entrepreneurship grant program from like a family that like donated to the university, and all those things came together for you to start your own bait company.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there's a bunch of different things that it all came into, and there's so many great opportunities at UNL. It's kind of a combination of things. So we'll talk more about casting to make a difference, but the Kasner College of Agricultural Sciences and Natural Resources, since I was a fisheries and wildlife major, that was kind of like our college. It was on like its own little separate campus away from city campus. So it's like a 5-minute drive from East Campus to City Campus. And a lot of the ag majors, natural resource majors, they're on East Campus. So I was over there a lot. And there's this program over there called the Angler Entrepreneurship program. It was started by Paul Angler. He's, him and his family have completely started this organization and built it up. And I mean, it's crazy. There you go. And it's been absolutely amazing to have like mentors right there, classes that help
Angler,
you.
For those listening on iTunes, ENGLER, not ANGLER. Yes. So this has nothing to do with angling or bass fishing. It's just a family that supports the students.
Yep. And so the class I was talking about, it's, what do they call it? It's called Angler 101, or Angler 101 kind of just gets you in the the entrepreneurship mindset. And then 201 is called the $50 business venture. So I took this was my second class I took through Angler late in my freshman year of college. And they give you $50 to start the semester. And throughout the semester, you're graded on how you start and run a business using the $50 that they give you. So it's kind of just like a fun little, class project that lasts the whole semester. And they can probably tell pretty easily like who's serious about it and who is actually putting in the work. But, you do everything from like background, like information in your industry. So like I was reaching out to people in the industry, which is pretty cool that we got to, have an excuse to reach out to some of these bigger name brands and people and get connected with them. But they grade you throughout the semester on, everything that you put into this. And so obviously I've put a lot of my own money into Revived, but that $50 is what got me started. And I did it for the class project, but then, class wrapped up and I was like, I think there's actually a market for this. And I got so much great feedback from great people in the industry. One of my biggest mentors, Ken Eubanks, Striking and Lose, Rather Outdoors, has been super crucial in me getting all this started and getting connected with people in the industry. So without that class, I definitely wouldn't be here.
So that's what started Revived.
Yep.
And how did you come up with concept to actualization? I mean, I've seen like, there's been stuff here. I've seen, you put your line in there, you can recycle your line, or you have a bins, or you can put your plastics back in. But out of all of it, like what made you be like, hey, I want to do something that involves recycling plastics and things like that?
So at the same time, when I was starting Casting to Make a Difference, when I was just starting Revived, I was starting Casting to Make a Difference. And it kind of went hand in hand. It was through two different programs. Angler was Revived, and then there was called, through Kasner, it was called the Kasner Changemaker Competition. So coming into my freshman year, there was a scholarship application, and I read into it, I looked into it. On all it was incoming students would submit a 2-minute video on, and I just hate to see this video. Like it would be, I was in senior year in high school, looked like I was 10 years old. I don't even want to watch it ever again, but I put together like a 2-minute video, little pitch on how to like change your community for the better, or just solely an idea, nothing that you have put in work yet. It was just solely pitch an idea. And then the whole concept around the Changemaker program was if you were selected, if your idea was selected, then throughout the next 4 years while you're at school, they're going to prepare you with everything you need financially, as well as like provide you with mentors to actually put this idea into action. So that's when I pitched that's when I pitched Casting to Make a Difference for that Kasner Changemaker competition. So
these are two things that are separate, but also working in parallel.
Yes. Okay. And Casting to Make a Difference was, really the whole story behind it is just getting youth involved in the outdoors through fishing, and having a Husker bass angler as a mentor to get them started. If they don't have a father figure like I did growing up that got me involved in fishing, or my mom or my grandparents, if they don't have that person in their life, then, they have us to get them started with fishing. And so with that, we taught a lot about sustainability, and there's my buddy Hunter. So he's actually an inspiration behind Casting to Make a Difference. I've known Hunter since middle school, but he's one of my best buddies. We talk on the phone like literally every day. But he was from my hometown in Kearney, and I think he's made it to every single Casting to Make a Difference event since then, even though he's a little old for it now. It's K through 12, but he still shows up.
You can tell he's caught some bass just the way that he's whipping that sucker. Like that's not his first rodeo or his second.
We've got some videos out on the boat together. He's a character. He is awesome. But
Sam, I've tried to find it. I don't know. You might have that thing blocked. That video submission from high school. I'm usually pretty good.
I don't know if that video is. I know it was on the news my senior year of high school.
Anyway, keep going on your
list.
story here, because this is I think you're like living in it as a 22-year-old right now, and this is all you've done. But this is highly impressive stuff, Logan.
Yeah. So we started that, had our first event my freshman year. Probably had like 10 or 15 kids show up to Casting to Make a Difference, and just super small. I actually started as a special needs event for special needs students at Lincoln Public Schools. And of course, Hunter drove down, made the 2-hour haul from Kearney. But then since then, it's opened up to just youth in Lincoln. It grew so much that last year we had like 20 kids, and we were like, okay, this is good. And then this year we had our event this spring, had over 300 kids in attendance.
Holy cow, congratulations. And that's something that you started all through that Kasner Changemaker competition.
Yep. And it got to the point where, I've reached out to some of my, some of the brands I'm connected with, and they're not only providing gear for these kids while they're at the event to fish and use at the event, but they're actually able to, provide these kids with gear to take home and fish.
You can throw them out there if you want to name them, mention them. Feel free.
Yeah. Strike King, Lose, huge supporters.
Yep. They do a
Yeti.
lot behind the scenes that you don't understand. Strike King, Lose with that. Yeah. They give away a lot of stuff to get kids involved in fishing.
Yeah. It was awesome. I donated a bunch of baits. But this year we had, some funding that we applied for a grant at UNL. And so we had some funding to provide these kids. So me and a couple of the officers on the bass team, we went to Shields and we went to the bargain bin, and we're just digging through all these baits. And I'm like, find as many topwater frogs as you can, because here's the thing. This was my take on it. If you get these kids a topwater frog and they get one blow up, they're probably not going to stick the fish. Obviously, they're probably throwing it on like a 4-foot ugly stick rod. Yeah. But when they get their first blow up, they're going to be like, that was freaking awesome. Yeah. I'm in love with bass fishing. Yeah, they
stick them with a loose frog rod, and then they're going to stick the next one, and then it's good. Did you say Yeti, like the goat of the cooler brand? You got a Yeti?
Yes. Yeah, Yeti coolers. Very fortunate to get connected with them, and it is actually the same way I got connected with Lose and Strike King, or rather Outdoors. Prior to college, it was my junior year of high school. I went up to Idaho, which is a haul from Nebraska. Everywhere important is a haul from Nebraska. Yeah. But we went to Idaho, and I was helping out with this fly fishing charity event that it was hosted by one of my mom's friends, Jim Copeland, who has been huge, him and a bunch of his buddies, but Jim helped out with it. And Jim has been such a big player in where I'm at with fishing and being connected. He's got so many connections, and he travels with Yeti to all the like expos that they go and set up. I don't know if you've I know you have, but anyone listening, if you've went to like Bassmaster Classics or any other big expos and you've seen the big like Yeti fortress, and it's got like 2 double-decker booth space. Jim's one of the guys that builds that. And so he's been able to connect me with so many great people that have been inspirational for me. But at this event, my job was to just shuttle around a golf cart and restock things that they needed for this event. But it was just a charity event to raise money for this family, and similar to kind of like what we were just doing at Table Rock, with St. Jude's, but different deal up there in Idaho, and a bunch of big names were there. I think PFG was there. A bunch of Yeti guys, of course, were there. Rather Outdoors guys were there. And Jim told me, he's like, there's going to be some, he's like, you like Strike King and Lose, don't you? I said, oh yeah. He's like, you've got some of their hats and t-shirts and stuff. I was like, oh yeah. He goes, I'd make sure to wear those. So I wear my little Lose sun hoodie and a Lose hat. And I'm walking around after my job has been done, delivering all the goodies they needed on the golf cart. And this guy came up and introduced himself to me, and it was Elliot Hill. So he used to work for Rather Outdoors, and I got connected with him when I was in high school. I told him how I was getting ready to go to high school nationals and from Nebraska, just tell my story. And they ended up talking to me a little bit. And then in high school, they gave me a large amount to just go out and spend on losing Strike King gear. And of course, at that age, I'm like, I'm sponsored. This is awesome. I've got all this gear. And so they treated me very well, and probably didn't need to, like at that age I had, didn't have a following, really didn't have anything to offer. And that's kind of a trend I see nowadays is like so many youngsters. I get messages even for Revived all the time. It's like all these young kids, reaching out. Hey, will you sponsor me? I've got 400 followers on Instagram. Like I was that guy, so I didn't really deserve this. And I knew, at least I knew I didn't. And I just was super blessed that took place. But then fast forward, so I meet Elliot.
Yeah.
Kind of goes on pause there for a while. Like I said, didn't have a whole lot to offer for them. I was in high school, always repped their stuff. But then went to UNL, and through that same program I was talking about, the $50 business class, you had to do all this background research on the industry you're in. And so I'm like, you know what? I got connected with Elliot way back when. I'm going to shoot him an email, and I'm just going to see if I can get him on a Zoom call. And so I reach out to Elliot, and he's like, well, son, or he always called me, I don't know. He always called me Buck or something like that. He's always like, well, Buck, or maybe that was Ken, but he goes, I'll get you connected with somebody, but I'm actually not with Rather Outdoors anymore. I'm at Nike. And that's what he said. I'm at Nike. Doesn't tell me his position. He is the CEO of Nike now. Elliot is. And so I'm like, just every single one of those guys I've met through Rather Outdoors, just like humble, real people I've ever met. Like
took time as that to chat with you.
Yeah, like takes time to chat with a high schooler way back when, hooks me up with a bunch of gear. Mm-hmm. And then fast forward my freshman year, hooks me up on a Zoom call with Ken because he said he was no longer at Rather Outdoors, but he said he had a guy for me. So then he hooks me up with Ken Eubanks, CEO of Rather Outdoors. And I'm just like, super nervous to get on a Zoom call. I'm like, I got all these questions. I got ready for this class that I needed to ask him about like the fishing industry. And I get on this Zoom call, and Ken answers. He's sitting probably about like this. He's just like, "What's up, dude?" Like just a normal guy. And I'm like, this is awesome. So I've been connected with those guys since then. And we had a college tournament up at Lake Murray. And Ken's like, hey, why don't you come over for dinner? And so I'm like, what? So we go to his house. We have dinner, and he invites the rest of the guys on the bass team over there. And, since then we've stayed connected at like any expos, any classics, and, tried to go out and have dinner or something like that. Yeah, it's just been awesome getting connected with those guys. I'm super fortunate.
Yeah, but you're doing it right too. You're respectful. You're doing your homework. You're coming with the right questions. You've got a goal in mind. You're not just looking for a handout or sponsorship. Like in order to put yourself in those positions, I think you deserve a lot of credit too for having a good head on your shoulders, really thinking it through and kind of having a game plan.
Yeah, I think I do now. But like I said, they took a chance on me when I was in high school by giving, a bunch of gift card money to spend on a bunch of their stuff. It's like they didn't have to do that at all,
Mm-hmm.
And
really, I'm assuming you mentioned Jim Copeland. That's, I think, probably someone just named Jim Copeland, not Jim Copeland, who's one of the three who bought Bass from ESPN. I think it was Jim, Don Logan, and Jerry McInnes back in 2010, because then he passed away in 2018. Just for those who are watching this, try to put it together. I think that's probably just a coincidental name.
Yes, coincidental. Okay. One of my
I was like, wait, I know that name.
My mom's friends from college, he went to UNL, and but yeah, we've always just been family friends with Jim. He's a great guy. But yeah, I mean, it really just, it makes you I guess my advice for any young guys out there is like, find those companies that take chances on young kids and, you know, donate a bunch of gear for all these events. I know, like for myself, any high school or college tournaments, like really, really pay attention to those companies that are sponsoring those events. Like, and more often than not, you'll see Strike King and Lose, Yeti. I mean, you'll see all those brands that are really, they're giving these organizations everything that they need to put on these events. And so I think it was my senior year, Jordan Lee came and talked at a high school nationals. And that's one thing he talked about, was just like, give back to the companies that give to you, you know, like everyone, especially these days, you know, everyone's buying all this JDM stuff, and, you know, that's all fun and great, but like really keep in mind, like those that are actually supporting the things that we all love. So.
All right. I want to get to this bait company, because you started as a $50 deal. You had all these things that came in, and it could have been something that was just the project for it. I'm assuming you get the grade for it and you move on, but you've like turned this into kind of a viable company. How do you get the plastics? Like, how does all that work behind the scenes? Like, I mean, here, I'll pull it up right here. It's Revived Bait. It's a website. I don't know how often you use the website.
Yeah.
You're probably on TikTok and Instagram and all the social media stuff more, but like, we're talking like logos, all sorts of different baits. You've got merch now. You have shake and bake minnows, shiver minnows, grubs, all sorts of stuff, mystery melt, like all these products that are available. Like right now, you're still in college. You're going into your 5th year here. Like, who's running it? Are you running it out of like a dorm room or your house right there? And what do the logistics look like of this? Because you're years down the road and you've got your own bait company.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of work, especially with, you know, trying to stay up to date with, you know, the Casting Make a Difference and keeping good grades and traveling all the time. I do have some buddies that have started helping me out, and this next year I'm really excited because I'm to the point now where I'm able to, you know, I'm not just out of a tiny little shop. I literally, if you go back to some of my videos on my TikTok or Instagram for Revived, you could go way back to see like my original setup. It was just in this shop that you could literally see the light from outside. There was cracks in the ceiling and in the walls. Like, I was freezing my butt off in the winters when there's like a foot of snow on the ground. I'm in there making baits. Like, that's how I started it, was just out of a tiny little shack. And this past year, we set up a shop at one of my buddies' places where we kept our boats, and definitely had a lot more efficiency there. And then this year, moving it back to my hometown for the summer, just enough to keep things going during the summer, and then going to move it right back to Lincoln here in the fall. But
so how do you get the bait? Like, do people send it to you? Do you have a way that, like, if I have 60 tore up Sakamatas from 2 1/4 pounders that I caught that I thought would be 4 pounders, and then I finished 90th, and I don't want to look at these things anymore, and they're just going to go in the trash can, can I like ship those to you?
Yes. So the best thing to do is, whether it's on Instagram, TikTok, whatever, Facebook, just shoot me a message, whether it's my personal or preferably the Revived accounts. And I actually offer discount codes just for sending in your ripped baits. So something that would either get polluted or thrown away, just because there's no use for ripped soft plastics, you can send them in to me. I'll repurpose them. And on top of that, I'll give you a discount. And if you message me, I'll send you all the instructions on how to get them to us. We actually, with every single order, we ship out a bubble mailer, it's like a 12x9 bubble mailer. In every order, we package one of those in there with our return address already on it. That way, when they get their order, they get their baits, whether it's the baits that they get from us or any other baits, they can fill up that bubble mailer and turn them in to us for a discount, as well as your shipping will be covered on your next order in free baits. So I think those bubble mailers, shipping just keeps going up everywhere.
That's ridiculous.
I think those bubble mailers are like $13 to ship. So on your next order, not only will you get a discount code to use, but you'll get that $13 reimbursed in free baits.
Okay. Speaking of
just for
mailing,
something that would get thrown away.
at the end of the show today, we do have something that it's a one of a kind that I was able to obtain yesterday that I will be giving out. And since, you're a successful business owner, so you probably don't deal with this, but since I've been married, my giveaway to mailing ratio has improved dramatically. It used to be, the packages would sit here for months. Now, if I do a giveaway, boom, that sucker's out in the mail and they're getting it. So I'll give a little flash of it, but I won't show what it is, but we'll do that at the end. So it is Revived, REVIVED, Bait Company at gmail.com for those who email. Social media accounts are at Revived Bait Co. And that is where you can check all that out. Website is also revivedbaitco.company.site or just Revived Bait Co. Google that. And
you can just Google
see it all.
Yep.
So then you're melting it down, pouring it, packaging it, and mailing it out? Like that's like you. Yeah. There's a good chance that when you order one of these, your hands have been on this entire process.
Yep. And I always leave a little handwritten note in there. And
really?
Sometimes I'll throw stuff in when I, recognize another college angler or someone from social media, throw in some stuff that I'm working on, coming out with. I've got some custom molds being made by a guy down in California right now. And had some made in Arizona. But yeah, these, got them right here. These winged minnows. So these, I'm actually getting some professional. So I've got these bags for.
So did you have to go through the whole process of getting the bags and doing the logo and which type of bags you want in the color and how much they are and where you're going to order them and all that? Like that's all you've been through. Your hands are on all of this process that you've learned the whole thing. Yeah.
It's crazy. I mean, everything's going up. I think when I ordered these, it was like 50 cents a bag or something, and they've went up a lot since.
Like, how did you even know where to go when it came to the bags? Like, how did you even know where to start that process?
So that's just goes back to that angler program, and then also last year I joined a organization on city campus, so main campus at UNL, called the Accelerator program. So you're in a program with other students that already have fully functioning businesses. And so you're able to bounce your ideas off of each other and ask questions, and you have peer groups. And so really just asking around, whether it was through the Angler program or through that Accelerator program. That Accelerator program has been insane for me because some of my peer groups, anyone watching has probably seen these guys on social media. One of the guys that helped me out a lot, J&D Lake Services. And what they do is they like go in and harvest like aquatic vegetation for homeowners non-chemically. Okay. So they're not out there spraying and, like some of the Florida lakes, we've seen how much that affects that. But like they're going out there, they started by just hand raking all this aquatic vegetation around homeowners' docks and stuff. And now they're to the point where they've got this big machinery. They've got harvesters, like aquatic harvesters that go down there, like scuba, like it's crazy, but they're, over $1 million business. And then you've got some guys' services. They started out just cleaning windows, door to door, cleaning windows. And they've got people in Nebraska. They've got people in Minnesota. They've got people all over the place. And they also, generated over $1 million by now. I mean, I've got such a great. So
you're using the resources, not necessarily, even if it's small business, it's entrepreneurship, it's using connections all across. So not only just in the industry, but also through college, through other people who have been there and done that. And you're taking advantage of that and rolling with it with Revive.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, when it came to the bags, I just reached out to a girl that was in the Angler program, and that was like her main deal. Like her business was like social media marketing and kind of like the behind the scenes work. And so like she would do the graphics on the packaging, and then she was kind of the middleman to get you connected with these places that actually like produce the bags, but she fully, I mean, I helped, but like she put these bags together and made all these. So if you're a small bait owner out there, like shoot me a message. I'll get you connected with her for sure. But yeah, she does really good work.
When I met you at I'm actually wearing the Hope Classic shirt today. That was so, and you've got Pro Guide on. That was so random.
Yeah.
I can't show it.
Awesome.
You see it through the. This is like my favorite shirt. Once again, 10 years from now, you'll want a shirt that's got a little bit more structure so the nipples don't show through, because you'll end up like gaining a little bit more body fat, and then you'll want it to be a little snug in the shoulders, but have some room there for poor decisions over the last 10 years. You'll learn. You'll learn. It won't be that skin tight shirts anymore. But I love this Pro Guide shirt. But did you do was that how you did some of your fundraising too for the St. Jude Classic?
Yes.
Was through sales of Revive baits?
Yeah. So what we did, and I'm excited for next year, because we'll be able to help you out even more. But I put out a little video. I got connected with Zach and Pate, and I put out this little video prior to the Hope Classic, letting everyone know that during the months of April and May, any sales from the website, $1 from every pack of baits would go to St. Jude's. So that was one way to kind of just promote the event itself, let people know that it existed and that people could go out to Table Rock Lake and have a great time at this tournament, as well as, help out a great cause with St. Jude's.
I'm super impressed, dude. I don't think there's any way not to be. What's your end goal here? Do you want to be on the Elite Series? Do you want to be on the BPT? Do you want to be a successful bait owner? Do you want to work for a company? Do you want to do social media and YouTube? Like, what are we looking at here? Because I feel like you're a guy who doesn't just do stuff to do stuff, but there's an end goal in mind here for you, Logan.
Yeah, honestly, I'm just doing what I love to do. Everything fishing, whether it's the philanthropy side, whether it's, the bait side, the actual tournament fishing side. My goal is to make it to the Elite Series, and fish the opens to get there. A lot of guys are already jumping in the opens while they're still in college. I haven't really decided if that's something I want to do quite yet, just with as much stuff as I've got going on. But I'm getting to the point where it's a lot easier, now that these things are established. It's a lot easier for me to run these things while I'm halfway across the country, now that I'm able to hire people and get help from good buddies I trust.
So you have employees that help package and do all that stuff too? Pay people to help with the company and all that at 22? Yeah.
Yeah. And this next year is going to be insane. I'm really looking forward to it. But I mean, it really just started out with guys that on the Bass team. Huge shout out to my tournament partner, Ty Kreis. You've probably seen him in some videos. He's a goofy guy. I love Ty. He is just a hoot to be in the boat with, but he has helped me out so much with Revive Bait Co. He actually went to the Bassmaster Classic with me when we set up the expo there. My first year at the expo was at the Fort Worth Classic, and this last year down there in Knoxville, it was absolutely amazing. We got connected with so many different people and sold a bunch of baits. It was amazing. I love going to the Classic. But Ty will be one of those guys that, whether it's me still paying him hourly to make baits, or if he, he's earned that spot to maybe it's one day part of the company.
He's your PIC, your partner in crime.
For sure.
Do you ever have trouble having enough plastic, I guess, to melt? Are you always on the hunt for more used plastics, or how does that I would assume as this takes off, you need to have more used plastics coming in so you can create new stuff to sell. What's that ratio look like? And is this a thing where we need to maybe get the BTL nation activated to start sending you plastics, Logan?
For sure. I mean, that's always great. The thing that I've found is best is finding guys like yourself that have a following, or whether it's a team president on a college fishing team, or, a high school coach, college coach, to find that one person that collects them all from their group rather than me separately saying, hey, all, 500 of you guys send in your baits. It's easier to kind of find, those ambassadors or somebody who can send those in for their entire group. It's just a lot easier on my part, and it's a lot easier on their part to have that one person kind of dedicated to that. But I mean, there's times where the way I make plastics and like get the different colors, a lot of times I don't even have to use dye. I get to the point where I'm like, okay, it needs a little bit of green pumpkin, it needs a little bit of this. And I've got all of them separated like in different drawers and containers by color. But if there's ever a color like I can't get to, I've got dyes to enhance it. They've got salt, all the baits got salt. And so, I mean, I can get to, it's insane some of the colors I'm able to come up with. Like right there, you can see that tab, 35 more colors on there. Like that's a huge misconception, is like a lot of people think like, oh, I'm just remelting plastic, so I probably get like a lot of greens and browns. Like I can make literally, yeah, that's one of my favorite colors, frat puke. That one was inspired by one of my buddies right there.
Shocker.
Got a bunch of different colored flake in it.
Look at that little old school motor oil there for the
dude. I've got
old guys in the back.
The Nevada Bass Club anglers. They sent me like 75 pounds of plastic. And some of those older guys, they love motor oil. So that is a
red
tougher
shad
color
motor oil,
make.
Logan. Black and blue, red shad and motor oil. If you get in the boat with an old school, like we're talking Harry and Charlie style Bassmaster Club guy, like you can look like if they've got a rod that's 7 foot or less and the line is mono, they have 3 colors of plastics in the boat: black and blue, red shad, and motor oil. And there's a good chance that they're stringing that up with big game too.
Oh yeah. I got my butt kicked by some older guys in our last little club tournament. They sat on the same hole all day, made the same cast in the middle of this timber field out in the middle of the lake, chucking a big worm, and they caught him. They ended up winning. It just sat on the same hole all day. That stuff kills me. If you're constantly catching fish, like, yeah, I could sit on a spot forever, but I'm just too squirrely. I'm always bouncing around. Like if I'm not catching them, I'm out of there, and that would just be so mentally trying for me to sit on the same spot all day. But they caught him. Big old worm, probably. Yeah, like you said, red shad, motor oil, June bug. They caught them.
How many hours a week would you say you're spending on the business? I mean, I'm looking at this. You got 35 colors, and you're like, you've got some that are out of stock, but like you're looking at I mean, you're doing like a lot of freaking pouring and packaging and website updating and shipping and receiving.
Yeah. So right now is probably like the least amount of time that I'm spending, just because it's during the summer. But during the school year, like I'm out fishing right now. I'm trying to restock colors, but like I'm out making content with these baits, and that's really what I love to do. Hopefully one day it's to the point where I've got some helpers, to the point where I can continue to do the parts of the business I love, and obviously still going to have to be involved in the parts of the business I don't love. But yeah, just getting out there and actually putting them to work. That's obviously my favorite part. So right now I'm getting to do a lot more of that. But come school year time, like I'll be doing the late nights till 2:30, waking up early in the morning at 5 before classes, pour baits, and a lot of white monsters to keep me going.
Yeah. Kind of the last piece of the puzzle that's here. And I think this is one of the most interesting ones, because, this is Bass Talk Live. We talk about if Justin Lucas on, try to get him on. He just won the Bass Pro Tour. Like that's an on the water tournament professional. And then you've got this monster on the side, and I'm struggling with it with BTL as well. Like I have a Bass Talk Live TikTok account that I've not been posted, but we've got it. And I finally wrestled the old BTL Instagram from Jeffrey's sweaty paws, and we're going to be redoing that. I've got but I don't do any of the social media stuff. I do YouTube and my own personal Instagram. Mm-hmm. But you're 22, you do it. It seems like you have it's important. Like, talk about for your business, for what you say, for the guys who are in college, who are in high school. Is social media really driving this game, this sport? Purchase decisions, decision makings, who's using what's happening in this? Like, in your opinion, is that where the most of the stuff is happening right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's super important to have a following on social media. I mean, whether you're winning every tournament or not, I mean, obviously you got to back it up with great tournament finishes, and that makes you even more credible. But just having a following and having an audience, especially a dedicated audience like yourself, like these guys are just, they're tuning into every episode. They're waiting for the next one to come out. Like, that's the kind of audience you gotta strive to get. Just when you promote something, they're going to go back you up, and they're going to trust that you're promoting products that are great for your audience. And yeah, I think just having that reach is so important, because at the end of the day, if you want sponsorships, if you want to be able to, like my dream, I want to go live out my dream. I want to go travel the country and fish. Like, that's super expensive, especially when your closest tournament is still like a 10-hour drive from Nebraska. Like, the amount of 20+ hour drives we made last year during the college Bassmaster. I mean, like, every single tournament. Now, we had 2 down there in Florida. We got South Carolina. I mean, that's a jaunt from Nebraska, and with just gas prices and everything. Like, if you want to be able to actually make this a sustainable business and be in the fishing industry, you've got to provide your sponsors with something, and not only just create content, but you got to be able to sell stuff. And I think it's really, really important to have a following. And so I'm kind of in that I really, like, in the last couple months, I've like doubled my followings on all my platforms. I think like a month ago, I didn't post a lot on Facebook. Something I found with Facebook is, like, a lot of the older generation obviously is on Facebook, and that's where a lot of your sales are going to come from, are guys like that. Not the 13-year-olds that follow you on TikTok, So
how old is too old to be on TikTok, Logan? Be honest. Like, get real honest right here. Like, how old is too old to be doing the whole TikTok game? You know what I'm talking about? Like, hit me with a number where it's like, bud, you missed that. Like, that you missed it.
Well, I don't want to be generic and just say that there's not a number. Something that I've found, like, if you're an outlier on TikTok, following like that. Like, I've seen some grandmas, grandpas, they start posting on TikTok, instantly they gain a following just because they're an outlier, When it comes to, like, just getting on there just to watch people dance and make TikTok videos, I don't think you should be over 50.
Oh, that still gives you time.
Posting content.
Like, do you think I need to, like, work on the BTL? Like, do you think BTL could benefit from,
for sure,
shorts on TikTok that would actually help me in the brand? Because I'm scared to open it up. I'm scared to open up TikTok. Like, I'm an Instagram guy, and I get on Facebook maybe 5 times a year right now. We're trying to change all that. But Court, who had a hairstylist page that she had a bunch, she's a blonding specialist for 18 years. She's like, you are doing 1.5, 2-hour shows, and there's these little 20-second things that, like, need to be out there, and TikTok is where that lives.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, that and Reels on Instagram. And we're kind of at, like, 2 different sides of it. Like, you've got this dedicated audience that I think posting, like, shorts and Reels on Facebook would be awesome. And I'm to the point where, like, I thought that was like, oh, I'm not going to post on Facebook. I started here's what I do. When I put up a post on Instagram or TikTok, I take that post that I put on TikTok, I put it on Reels on Instagram, I put it on Shorts on YouTube. I haven't posted a long form video on YouTube for like 6 months, and I really need to get back into that. But it's hard for me because I'll spend 3 days editing content from a tournament, and put it into a 20-minute video to get, maybe 1,000 or so views. I've got like 3,000 subscribers on YouTube now, but it's like I can get 1 million views, 10 million views by posting a reel or a short on TikTok and Instagram, and it takes me 30 seconds to edit a video rather than 3 days just to get 1,000. So it's hard for me at the point that I'm at with, just time management and stuff to really sit down and edit. So I should probably just find somebody that'll do it.
Delegate.
But yes, but yeah, it's that Facebook, man. I had like 800 followers a month ago, and I just started posting the same videos that I post on Instagram and TikTok. I'm like close to 10K on Facebook in a month. Like,
wow.
Just the same videos. It's no extra work. It's you already made the video. You're just putting it right there on a different platform. So.
Can I ask you like some like social fishing questions as a college angler who like hasn't won a Bassmaster Classic, like an Easton Fothergill, dude's not like, hey, I have like politically correct answers so like you're in it, you're doing it, you do the social media, you're around the college kids and stuff. Let me see, how do I want to word this, Logan? Because this is an interesting. I feel as though this is an interesting question for our day and time here. There's, I think, if you were to take generalizations, the old school guys think that the young live scope, social media aware, rope hat, Zin, live scope, catch an 8-pounder like it's nothing so you can get a reel out of it and not, off scope are I'll say this is quotations, ruining the sport. I also chat with a lot of younger generation anglers who feel like the older generation is hanging on and that they're putting in the time, work, effort, taking advantage of what it is. It's a natural progression, and that it's the old curmudgeons who aren't giving them their flowers for how much work they put in, and they were right there back in the day, and hey, it's a natural progression. And then there's a group in the middle that kind of don't really care, to be quite honest. You're in the college scene. What is the screw the old guys, we're here, your time is past, the future is now, old man, versus hey, we're in this together, we still love fishing, it's not all just about live scope, we want to learn this industry, respect. You see what I'm saying there? Like, I feel like it's easy to point out and look at the deal, but I mean, what is that like at the college scene too?
Yeah, that's a loaded question.
It's a loaded question. Yeah. I mean, I would love to talk about it too, because like you're right there, like in the perfect deal to talk about it. Like, yeah, you want to do this for a living. I'm also in the middle too. Like I got people on here where if I say like live scope, like Clay Williamson will log off and go mow his grass and not tune in till the next day. Then I got other people that are like, hey, I want to know how to hit him at 120.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure that out too. That would be awesome. So like you, I would say I hold like a similar position where, yes, I'm good with live scope and I've put in the work to get good with live scope, but some of my best tournament finishes have came on a frog and a jig, top 10 up at Saginaw Bay on a frog, catching all largemouth, while Easton Fothergill and the Nut Brothers were going 35 miles out into the 6-foot waves, breaking all their stuff, and they came back with bags of smallmouth. I think Easton got second in that tournament. We got 7th, but we stayed close and we caught all largies. We weighed all 10 largies. Wow. And some of those tournament finishes, like I said, didn't use scope at all. But generally speaking, most college tournaments are getting won with scope. And if you're not competing in high-level tournaments like that, and you want to say, that you're contributing by not using live scope and refusing to learn it, or think it's bad for the industry, power to you. But in my position, when I'm getting my butt kicked with guys that have put in the work and have learned more about bass fishing by using the electronics that they've got, I used the LVS 32 up until like less than a year ago, and I finally get the 34, and now they're coming out with new transducers. But like it's something I have put the time in and I've learned, and it's a lot harder for a guy in Nebraska when you've got mud puddles everywhere out east, and then you go out west and you've got clear water puddles. And so, to get good with live scope, I went out to these small little interstate lakes that had clear water out west, and kind of my take with it is I knew I was going to see fish on scope. I knew I was going to make a cast at fish on scope. It was just, figuring out the mechanics on how to get these fish to bite, how to keep my bait in the frame, it all starts with foot control too, with the trolling motor. And that's what a lot of people don't understand too, is they think that you can just go out there and make a cast out of fish and they're just going to eat it. We're talking fish that have never seen a minnow before. When I first started live scoping out in these ponds on boat ramp or on lakes that didn't even have boat ramps, they had like gravel little oak clearings, and you back your boat down these gravel boat ramps. Like, no one scoped these fish. And the reason I have kind of a middle stance on it is because I've seen the effects of live scope even on those smaller ponds, knowing that I was the only one out there scoping, and these fish became pressured. So I will go on a little side note here. So one of those interstate lakes, very small, you can fish the whole thing in a day. Less than a day. They're super small. We don't have any lakes in Nebraska that I made a video on it the other day. Don't have a single lake in Nebraska that could comfortably hold a 30 boat tournament. Like, seriously, I made a video about it the other day. But I saw the effects of live scope just from me being out there pressuring these fish. I went from, at first I wasn't catching all these fish because I had to learn how to scope, this 4-5 years ago, whatever. But I'd cast at these fish. I got to a point where everyone I casted at, I could get them to bite. Like, it was dumb. And this was early on. And I knew I was the only one out there pressuring these fish. But by the end of that summer, I went from catching like 95% of the fish I casted at to, maybe 20 or less. And you get swerved. And it's crazy to me knowing that I was the only one out there with live scope, scoping these fish, how much they were affected by it. But with that said, at the very end of the summer, when those things were pressured, when those things had seen my minnows, whatever, I go back to that same lake when I came out with the old hairy nugget, little dice style baits. When I came out with those, I went out there, Nico rigged it, drop shot rigged it, had the best day I'd ever had. And this was when those fish were in the middle of being the most pressured I had ever seen them. And it went right back to how it was. Caught every fish I casted out on scope. Just showing them something that they hadn't seen. So I guess I kind of have an interesting take on it. Like, I've seen the effects of it. I can only imagine how much it affects a lot of those southern lakes. When I go fish those college tournaments, I see that there's differences in me fishing my little puddles versus these lakes that get hammered every single day of the week, like Guntersville or, wherever. But I truly believe that there's always something, you show those fish a different color, you show those fish something new, that you can get those fish to bite. But yeah, I guess my take on it is being in the position I was with college angling, like I had to get good with it. I was getting my butt kicked, I had to get good with it. I use it as a tool. I don't rely on it. So I would say I have a pretty middle, I'm definitely aware of its effects, but I'm also aware that a lot of guys kick butt with it. So I've definitely gotten good with it. And I even started guiding live scope lessons here in Nebraska, which you wouldn't think there's a whole lot of people interested in that here in Nebraska, but it's been awesome. The amount of young anglers that have reached out to me on social media and wanting to get in the boat with me. to do a live scope lesson. So I've also seen how having those live scope lessons affect some of the younger kids. I'll tell a little story about one of the clients the other day. He was still wearing a life jacket, like young kid, just getting into junior fishing tournaments.
Like wore a life jacket because he had to wear a life jacket.
Yes, wore a life jacket because he was under 13. So had this kid out on the boat the other day. Of course, that's like the prime age when I was like pond hopping, really falling in love with fishing. And this kid's got it. Like, he's going to be awesome. And a couple of these kids I've taken out have been that way. But this one kid in particular, he hadn't really had a lot of experience with scope or any electronics for that matter. So we took some time graphing around with side scan and down scan and marking stuff, showing him what to look for. But then once we got up to the scope, we start fishing. At first it's kind of me just showing them like how to interpret what they're seeing and giving them the whole rundown. And then it got to the point where we're casting on fish. He's watching his drop shot fly right past a fish. The fish goes down and eats it. He thinks it's the most amazing thing ever. And it got to the point later in the day where like he's looking at that screen. He's not listening to me say, okay, 30 feet straight in front of the trolling motor or wherever, he's making these casts by himself. With my help, of course, with my foot on the pedal and stuff. But like he made a comment. He's like, he turns around to his mom and he goes, "Mom, we've got to get a live scope. This is insane. I don't think I could ever fish with a live scope again." I'm like, no, don't say that, kid. Like, there's so much more to it. So, it's getting them on the water. It's also getting them excited. It's wanting them to do. I've seen that for the first time too. Like, I've taken guys for the first time and they would be so over it after the first hour, but because they could see what they were casting to, they're hooked on fishing. Like, I know guys who bought boats because of that, who 100%. Are outside because of that. So what is it? Do you not want them to get hooked? It's a double-edged sword. It's an interesting conversation. It goes right back to what I was talking about earlier. What would have gotten me hooked at that age is seeing a topwater blow up, and seeing a topwater. Say live scope. Just say live scope. Live scope. Yeah, Clay's gone. He's out of here. He doesn't stand for that kind of foul language on BTO. No. But no, I mean, it goes right back to what I was saying. Like, what would have gotten me hooked is seeing a topwater blow up, even if I didn't catch it, And for this kid, it was, oh my gosh, the puzzle pieces all came together. And now I'm seeing, what's actually going on down there. And for him, that was that, okay, I'm hooked, Yeah. And so there's multiple sides to it, but I did take the time to explain the situation to him and told him how, sometimes it can hurt you and sometimes life, you could be winning really the classic in 5 years. I think you talked about it the other day on an episode when you were talking about like the psychology of fishing. You were like, you can get so zoned into that scope. You're not looking up and seeing the fish, up on the flat by the boat dock, Like, you're not seeing all the fish busting on bait up there and you're so dialed into your live scope. Like, that's definitely a true thing. So I made sure to talk to him about that. But yeah, I mean, like you said, double-edged sword. I should have brought this up earlier. So I was reading some different articles about you. Are you still rolling in the Z7? Yes. And so it looks like you have, okay, listen, this is, if you're listening to the show, listen, this is badass story. So if you see the front, you've got a force and you got scope up there and stuff, which obviously was add on. But if you look at your social media, you're in I ran a ZX 190 for the first 7-8 years until I bought one of the former Elite Series Pros big skeeters, which blew up promptly in every way, shape, and form. And we're like, why are you buying that dude's boat? I had it, but now it's good. But until I got in the cats. So I'm a big fan of that 18-foot, 17, 18 and a half foot boat with the 150. This boat that you currently use in college as a 22-year-old
going into your 5th year
Mhm.
that you've added on to, was purchased by you in high school by working at Hy-Vee. Great underrated spice section at Hy-Vee's, by the way, if you're into cooking and grilling. And detasseling corn.
Yes, believe it or not, I detasseled corn in Nebraska when I was in middle school, and late middle school. So we would wake up at like 3 a.m. and go get on the bus with all our buddies. I wasn't even tall enough to reach half the tassels, like at that age. Like I was tiny.
But you're
And
doing that with the goal of buying a boat. Like, I'm doing this stuff
yes,
so I can afford to buy
so my
a boat.
So I do not any way, shape, or form come from money. I have a lot of people on my side now that I really need to start reaching out for help, and as I really want to do this, the rest of my life. But now I'm to the point where I'm putting myself in a position where, I can have that really nice boat and upgrade and hopefully fish this next year out of a new boat. Nothing set in stone yet. I don't have, I've got some phone calls and stuff I need to make and start looking around. But hopefully I can get rid of it so I can fish out of my boat for my last year. Because last year we fished out of Ty's boat. He's got a brand new Triton, and we both get up there and run the scope and everything. But that was out of his boat last year. So this year I really hope before here, like in a month or a little after, I hope to have a upgraded rig. But financially it just never made sense for me. I mean, saving up to get the boat that I have now was the dream a couple of years ago, and now here I am like, I need to upgrade. But like I detasseled corn, saved up maybe close to over 10 grand, I think. And then my junior year, I think my mom and dad split. I got it for like $17,000. I think my mom and dad split the last portion for like my senior year. It was like my birthday / senior year. We didn't go on a trip like we were going to because I told them like I was saving up for this bass boat. So that's what we ended up doing, and that's what I fished out of since. And I've, of course, upgraded since then. I just got like less than a couple months ago, I got a 16-inch screen up front for scope. Before that, I had 2 10s up front. And if you scope, you know that making that jump from 10 to 12 is huge.
Yeah, I did it.
For sure. But making the jump from 12 to 16 or 10 to 16 like I did, like, it's been awesome. I've been able to see a lot.
Casting at a lot of gizzard shad for a while.
That's for sure. And big bluegills.
Crappie, drum. Yeah. You'll see like a 3-pounder and be like, my God, it's a state record.
Yep. That's exactly right. My buddy, Josh, we fished out of his boat for the ACA National Championship down at Pickwick. And he's got a 19-inch Apex. And like those things look like bluegills look like basketballs on that thing. I was like, good Lord. But working at Hy-Vee, worked at the YMCA when I was young. I was always working.
YMCA.
I helped out with like youth,
run jazzercise
athletics.
Club?
No.
You were like running.
What do they call it? Zumba? Yeah, I was in there in a leotard doing Zumba.
Doing jazzercise and Zumba.
I refed, got yelled at a few times by some angry
parents.
What sports? Basketball. What else?
Were you a sports guy growing up?
Yeah, I played shortstop growing up. Well, actually, I was too small and couldn't throw across the diamond until I got cut from baseball my freshman year. And then by my senior year, Legion, I was the starting shortstop, leadoff batter, great batting average. And my freshman and sophomore years, I wouldn't even made the team, but I was just super, super late bloomer. And played shortstop, baseball in Kearney, and I loved it. I loved baseball. But then when it came to having a fishing tournament over going to a baseball tournament, my coach knew my standpoint on that. He knew I would not be there.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Do you mentioned the opens, you mentioned this, you've got this business. Do you have anything lined up for after college? Like, Do you want to start in the industry? Is it enough like with Revive to where you think you can grow that and make a living on it? Like, are you looking or open for jobs in the industry to get your foot into that aspect of it even more so you can then fish the opens? Like,
right?
You always seem to be, just from our hour and 21-minute conversation, it feels like you probably have a game plan.
Yeah. Ideally it would just be to grow Revive Bait Co. to the point where I'm able to provide for myself that way. But I'm completely open to working, whether it's working for Yeti Coolers or Rather Outdoors. I've always looked up to Tristan McCormick. You've seen how Rather Outdoors has always been there for him throughout his whole journey. Just, he just made it on the Elite Series. But he's been with them forever, and just seeing how, it really kind of is cool to see it all come together because they took a chance on him so early, and he continued to prove himself, whether it's through college fishing.
Always on the water,
opens,
man. Like through the opens. I met him in 2019 in the Toyota Series at 22, or he was 19, rolling by himself fishing that. Like he fished everything and was daylight to dark on the water, all the opens. I mean, busted his ass to get where he's at.
Yeah, I'd love to sit down and talk with him sometime. I've seen him at expos, but never really had a long conversation with him or anything. But yeah, really looking up to him, and something like that too, is definitely open, whether it's going to, Strike King, lose, getting out of Nebraska is definitely on the ticket. Not sure how long after college that will be, but definitely I can promise you I'll be out in Nebraska in a few years at least. But yeah, it's all kind of up in the air, but ideally being able to support myself through my own things like Revived, my socials, and while still being involved in the industry and still promoting products and still, partnering with companies that are in the industry. That way, not to say like I'm keeping my options open, but just like, continuing to do the things that I love and being a part of the organizations that make a difference is really what I'm wanting to do. I'd like to start doing casting to make a difference events at other colleges. I think that could be a huge thing. I've already talked to the president of Clemson Bass Fishing, Palmer Parrish. He's also really involved with Lose and Strike King. He does a whole ministry before every college tournament. He's a great kid. And I talk to him frequently, but he is definitely interested in the idea of starting some casting to make a difference events down there. And he's already got the partnerships and the brands that would back his organization. So I think it'd be cool to kind of have, something that I founded that was my idea, but carried out by all of these college fishing programs. Because when you travel around the country, if you don't mingle with other college anglers and you don't put yourself out there, like you're missing out on meeting some of your best friends. Like I've noticed, whether it's just guys rigging up in the parking lot or what, that's how I've met so many of my great friends from all over the place. Like guys that are killing it in the industry right now. Trace Antunes. If you haven't heard his name, get ready to hear it a ton because he is winning everything. And that all started with just like,
I gotta look this up because I heard the same thing about Bank Shaw, and I was like, and then all of a sudden he's winning at top 10ing 60%. Trace, Trace.
Yep, Trace Antunes. So there's in the Bassmaster College Series, you pick a trail. They chose the Legends Trail, and they won the first 2 tournaments out of the 3. But Trace goes home in Texas, and he's invited me down there. He's like, you need to come down to Texas, and we need to go get on some fish. And I haven't taken him up on it. Yeah, he fished for Montevallo, and he fished in high school in Texas. And so he's very well-rounded. I mean, you go down in Texas, and you're in high school killing it down there, and then you go to Montevallo where you're within driving distance of all these major fisheries. But
here, can I throw something out here? I sometimes throw out bad ideas. Way back in the day, it's funny. brought this. There was a Bradley Hallman sighting over on Tom Reddington's site, and then I've been inundated with his Bradley Hallman. Oh my gosh, Bradley Hallman's coming back East B. So I texted him this morning and I just said, rumor is you're back. And he said, nope, still in witness protection. And I said, so official statement is still in witness protection. And he said, yes. And I said, noted. So there's the end of that, but you do get a little bit of LBJ on that. But we worked with Big Bite Baits back in the day, and he did we did a shape called the BFE, best flipper ever. Went through it, came out with a color called BTL. I'm spitballing. Is this even a possibility? I just would enjoy doing this. So if we did like for a month, because everyone's fishing right now, a bunch of guys are here, and like we had like the BTL listeners all gather their used plastics and send it to you. Could you then like pour a BTL color that you could put up on your website, and then we could have all the guys that listen to BTL that send their plastics to you, you keep that stuff separate, then you pour it out of that. So like everyone, then when you buy them and do it, it's like supporting you, because I want you to make money on this. Like I busted your ass on it. I think that we could get a bunch of these guys and girls. I think we may have a few female listeners of the show, maybe like 3, or maybe they just comment on their wives' accounts. But but then you pour that, you say that, so that you could be live scoping a minnow with Clay's brush hog that he refused to live scope with, and then that's just like the straight up circle of life, and we come up with the unique color with it. Is that something that? That maybe we could chat on afterwards? Like, I don't know how well it would take off, but like I would enjoy kind of seeing that process.
Yes. Yeah. And let us know if you're on here live too right now. If you got a bunch, I already saw one comment came up. They're like, I just threw away a bunch of ripped soft plastics. The amount of times I hear that is crazy. Like there's not a use for them, And so hold on to those things. I even have these little bags. So when I go to college tournaments, I go to registration, I get in talks with, whether it's MLF with Kevin Hunt or Bassmaster with Glenn, getting in talks with them. Or the biggest thing that really set it off, and an angler I really look up to, is Logan Parks. When I went to that Insane tournament, crazy. The Insane tournament was just an awesome deal. I think he's got a great thing going for him with getting the high schoolers involved, the college anglers, great recruitment for college teams as well. But he was the first one that allowed me to pass out Revive Baitco bags at registration. So, all these sponsors that probably pay to be there, whatever, they're all standing there. And I was able to set up a little area to pass out these bags, because at the end of the day, it looks good for these guys hosting these tournaments too, because these communities that are worried about, trash getting thrown away. It's kind of similar to like what AFCO would do with those yellow trash bags. And then when you turn in the trash bags, you get a discount, or you get a gift card. Well, with the baits, it's the same deal. You turn in your ripped baits and you're rewarded at they had the award ceremony at the Insane deal. And so it was kind of difficult for me to find like the best, solution for where I wanted to have these baits turned in. But ACA National Championship, they did the same deal. They just set my big recycling bin, like a blue, like you see in the classrooms at school. I just had this big blue container sitting in the middle of, like, closer to the weigh-in stage, like right there where everyone walks by, and people would throw in their ripped plastics. So I collect a bunch like that, and came home from the James River with like 120 something pounds of soft plastics just from college guys. So
here's what we'll do. Let's do a BTL deal. I guess you're planning probably on fishing the Hope Classic next year. Pro Guide Hope Classic here. I want you to make some money on this. So if you can donate 50 cents a bag of the BTL stuff to the Hope Classic to St. Jude, I'll match that on the BTL side. Sweet. Up to $1,000. So whatever it is, then we'll double it. I'll send it to you. You keep the whole thing, and you can donate it for your team for the Hope Classic next year.
That would be awesome, dude.
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
I like that idea. That's a good idea. you're down on that? I mean, you're the business owner. I mean, if you
For
don't,
sure.
I got people on here that tell me all the time that
for
are like,
sure
yeah,
down for
no,
that.
let's talk about this off stage. But we'll work on that something in the next month. That might be a cool project. But I think it would be cool to be able to say,
For
hey,
sure.
I know I'm fishing with plastic that some other BTL listener was throwing it from. I mean, we got guys from Hawaii to Russia.
That's crazy.
To this thing. So
yeah, that's the thing too with these baits. You were talking about Clay's brush hog or whatever in the minnow, and there's another, like, just to throw this out there, for the guys that really like their socks super soft or whatever, Sakamata shad, that is not actual socks.
Scopers don't wear socks.
Yeah, scoper socks. Trace being one of those guys, or some of the college guys that I know personally, they'll give me, a bunch of ripped soft plastic, or they'll give me a bunch of like ripped Sakamata shads, or like really soft plastic. And when I make some of these minnows, like, I'll show you this one. This is a 7-inch minnow, winged minnow.
Looks pretty good.
And
that tail has the right, looks like it's got the right flop on the tail there,
horizontal.
Logan.
Yep. And so they say, like, hey, when you melt these down, will you use all of my old socks? But a lot of the times, some guys will be like, well, all my Sakamata shads rip easy, and I want them to be a little bit more durable. So then when I melt down some freeloaders and some other things, like, I can kind of match that to what they like. So if it's somebody that I'm close to, or somebody that shoots me a nice message and says, hey man, I just purchased a bunch of your baits and I have this one special request, like, I'm to the point now where it's still small enough to be able to do some things like that. But yeah, with the Clay's brush hog, I'm not sure if some of those college hammers wouldn't want their Sakamatas super, super soft.
All right, we'll figure something out. With this. I greatly appreciate the time. Anything else you want to get in here, Logan? Obviously, check it out. Revived Bait Company on your social medias. You can go to the website. It's revivedbaitco.company.site. If I just go to revivedbaitco.com, will I go to that?
Yeah, if you could just search Revive Bait Co, it'll pop up. Or Revive Bait.
Yeah, Revived Bait Co. Boom, there it is. First one right there pops up. Check it out. If you have any other questions, if you want to just send your stuff in, you want to purchase stuff off of that website, you want to hire Logan for when he is graduated next year and get a jump on that, there's all ways you can contact him.
Yeah, and what you're kind of talking about, sending in like all the BTLs, guys' plastics. I just started something called mystery melts, and what I do with those is it cuts down my time a little bit, so I'm able to offer a discount with those, just by not having to. Yep, there they are. Not having to sort out the colors. Mm-hmm. So I'll do this, like, I started it like last week, and I'd like to try to do like one mystery melt a week. So it's kind of just like an exclusive color that's only going to be in stock till it's gone. And there's only going to be a limited amount of them, because what I'll do is I'll just take like a few handfuls of random plastics. They're not sorted on color. And it's simply just like a little TikTok or an Instagram reel on designing a color from just a bunch of ripped plastics, a bunch of different colors, and just seeing what happens, seeing what it turns into. And of course you can add dye and add glitter and whatnot, but it's kind of just a cool little mystery thing that I'd like to start. But they're $1 cheaper than all the other baits. So
very cool.
Yeah.
All right. I got stuff to give. I mean, you're welcome to stick around for it. I'm just going to talk about how I drove 12 hours and picked up the new cat.
I'd love to stick around for it.
All right. This is something I talked with. I had Bondi on. I mentioned that at the beginning yesterday, and then I literally hightailed it. And Bass Cat closes at 4:30, so I got there at like 4:31. So shout out to those guys for sticking around. But longtime partner of BTL, and it was interesting. Have you seen the dude on Instagram? I'm sure he's on TikTok too. He seems like a college kid, but he does the blind ranking of the He'll do like the top 10 fishing reels, the top 10 fishing rods, the top 10 bass boats, and then the little thing like goes around his head, and then you have to put him in whatever slot. Have you seen that?
I've seen similar stuff to that.
Yeah. Anyway, he did. So he
Yeah.
did bass boat brands, and when Bass Cat came up, he's like, "These guys are like a cult." And I just started laughing. And he's like, "You will never meet a Bass Cat guy who isn't absolutely in love with his Bass Cat." He's like, "Bass Cat guys hang out with other Bass Cat guys. They talk about Bass Cats, and once they're in a Bass Cat, they're in a Bass Cat for life." And I started laughing, and my wife was like, "What are you watching over there?" And I was like, "Oh, it's just funny," because he was doing like, he had Icons, Tritons, Nitros, the whole 9 yards. But the Bass Cat one was funny because it is true. The loyalty is wild. So I'll show just a little sneak peek. Now, this thing got into the driveway at midnight last night, and it's a 27. I don't know if we'll be able to have audio. It's a 44-second, and I will point out to everybody that yes, I did start the video early, so you could see my freshly power washed front porch, mulched flower bed, and completely redone front with the post and everything. I'm damn proud of it. It's been 100+ here for a month, and this is something that the wife and I have been working on. So it's not just the boat; you get to see the walkout too. Here it is. I don't know if you guys can still hear me. Look at that. Those are all fake too. You'd never know it. Deer, leave them alone. Edge the grass. Right. Look at this sucker. Yeah, it's like the little details in it are absolutely phenomenal. I think I climb up in here. There's no audio on here because at my age I grunt when I climb up into the boat.
Cornhusker colors too.
Yeah. Or Sooner colors.
That too.
Love that new compartment style there in the
Wow.
middle. Little day box addition to it. Little center. There you go. So as soon as we're done here,
Sweet.
that is heading up to Scott Palmer at the Bass Tank to get that thing rigged out, and there'll be more on it. But the most nervous you ever will be is the first 10 miles after you pick up a new boat and the last 10 miles before you drop off the old boat.
Yep.
But one of the things that I wanted to do, we've got a lot of good comments today, a lot of good things. While I was at Bass Cat yesterday, I ran into the man, the myth, the legend, inducted this year into the Bass Fishing Hall of Fame. We had him on talking about it. The one, the only, Rick Pierce, was in the office working hard. And I said, Rick, I said, I would like to give away a one-of-a-kind Rick Pierce signed Bass Cat hat. Now, he had a pile of hats in his office when I was in there getting it. And they were just standard Bass Cat hats. And he said, well, these are all signed. Like John Cruz had them signed, a couple guys there. And he's like, I got you. Don't worry about it. So while I was hooking up the new boat, doing the paperwork and stuff like that, he comes back with this hat. Matt Looney, he runs Bass Cat. He's like, oh, someone, I guess whoever runs the merch department isn't going to be happy that you grabbed that one, because this is a factory tour edition leather patch Bass Cat hat that you can only get at the Bass Cat factory by touring the facility. And I mean, it's Rick Pierce, so he can take whatever hat he wants, right? So that is an autographed Rick Pierce Bass Cat factory tour edition hat. And then on the bottom, he said, BTL, love it. Thanks, Matt. This is going to someone in today's comments who was listening to the show. And here's what I do on all the comments. I just scroll up and down, and I'm just going to have you at any point, and I'm scrolling from the most recent to the latest. I'm just going to have you say stop at any point, and whatever comment it lands on, as long as it's a fairly decent comment, that's who's getting the hat. So,
okay. Stop.
Jeff Brazil, motor oil, orange tail was a staple when I was young. Jeff, he listens to a bunch of the shows and stuff, so he'll appreciate it. Shoot me an email, jeffmatt@basszone.com. Also, info@basszone with your mailing address. I wanted to keep this. It was like closed. I didn't have a chance to do a second one because now that he's going into the Hall of Fame, like I want to put it right there next to the old, like Bondi. That one's staying in the studio.
Oh yeah.
The old Rick Clun.
I've got I need to pimp out a little man cave like you've got. A bunch of hats and.
Well, yeah, this is my studio.
I finally get settled in.
It's I should do a studio walkthrough.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I got a bunch of little stuff there. I got the signed simoleons are some of my favorite things. Got a little Charlie Hartley action on a $1 bill. Justin Lucas. I got a Jason Christie. I got a Lake Fork guy and John B. autographed $1 bill.
Heck yeah.
We're working it.
Rick was at the Hope Classic, wasn't he?
Yeah. Rick's.
They gave away that boat.
They gave away a Bass Cat there, huge supporter of the Hope Classic, along with Pro Guide batteries and Peyton, the folks over there. I've got all the Pro Guide stuff currently sitting at the Bass tank. New charger, actually going with the AGM because for a crank and battery, that's typically what they recommend for the Yamaha. Got the lithiums on the other side. And then the beatdown stuff just came in. So I'm going with a double stack Ultimate Shorty with the 16 Garmin. And then I've got to do it because we're fishing the EQs here. I'm going with the 12-inch Explorer for the 360. And then a 12-inch Lowrance Live there. And then I'll get the power brakes thrown on. And they'll put the Bass Boat harness in. So you have just straight power all the way to the front, and I have to run the 34 for the EQs, so put a black box back in there. But I feel very thankful to have been in the industry, to have the opportunity to represent a brand like Bass Cat and take that thing all across the country and have those people on and be able to go to the factory and see where it is and the folks that make them and things. So could not be like I said, I ran that ZX 190 my senior year of college for 8 or 9 years. It was red, cherry red, had Bassone logos on the front of it, single axle. I mean, when one goes flat, it's flat. You're constantly, every bump, you're like, please don't pop that tire when you hit a bump, especially when you drive through those states, like Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, like where it freezes and expands and contracts, like your whole drive. You're just like, please don't pop on any of the tires. Is that a carbureted that you're working with too, still on the engine? Or is that an upgraded engine on it?
No.
Is it a two-stroke?
It's still a two-stroke.
Yeah, so like you have to you have the trick where you have to like pump the ball and then
I haven't had to do that, no. It's been pretty reliable for me, other than when I had a video that went pretty viral, me getting stuck on a mud flat and absolutely crashing out. So if you haven't seen that, go watch it. But I got stuck on a mud flat, and when I went into, I was like, oh, I'm just on a sandbar or whatever, I'll push off a bit. I take one step in the water and sink to like past my knees, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna push out of here. So then gave her, got out of there with the big motor, sucked up a bunch of mud, had to get it flushed out, and yeah, it was a disaster. But she's still running.
Pickwick Pirate is a Bass Cat guy, and Jeff said, keep it if you want to send me something else. I might be able to send Jeff a Koike if him and Pickwick Pirate want to do a trade. I know Pickwick's freshly into a cat. I don't know. Maybe we'll get an email. We'll get a email chain going there. Yeah, matt@basszone.com, info@basszone.com. We'll figure something out with Jeff. He's around a lot.
I just saw a comment from John Bird. He's a Lose guy.
Dude, I knew
a bunch of plastics.
JB3 and I go way back. Like I knew JB3 before he was a juggernaut in the industry, Logan.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
I met him through Ken a few years ago. And
he does good stuff on YouTube and podcasts and things that.
Always got to tune into his stuff.
Yeah. Just shoot me your info to Pickwick Pirate, and then we'll figure something out. I mean, if Jeff wants it, he's the one he got picked. I can't change it, but he offered to give it up beforehand. You're a cat guy. This is kind of like a one-off deal. See how it says factory tour edition?
That's awesome.
With the cat, and I think that's Rick driving it.
Where are they based out of?
Mountain Home, Arkansas.
Arkansas.
Jeff's an Allison guy. Both fast boats. Both cool. Both cool goats. Who is it? Yeah, there's a couple Allisons that run the opens. So, what is today? Today is Tuesday. Tomorrow, we're doing an evening show because my buddy, I got a buddy coming into town who is a guide who fishes the opens. He made the EQs. He's been in the boat with like 15 pounders. Rick Harris is coming in. So we're going to fish in the morning.
Heck yeah.
I'm going to cook him a steak. And then we're going to do an evening show with Rick Harris. So stay tuned for that. You got anything else, Logan?
No, just thank you. And I'm looking forward to this. I'm excited to see how many BTLers bring in their plastics.
Yeah, I'll get with you. I got to run the boat up after this here, but this week I'll get with you and see like logistically of what that looks like, of how we can do it to where you can like do it. And then maybe we do kind of like I do for a merch drop for like a 2-week where we do like, hey, for these 2 weeks, you have between this time and this time to get your plastics in. Here's where it is. Here's what you put on it. Right. So you know it's BTL plastics. And then you can do a special run. You can pick whatever the heck you think would be. I mean, I'm all in for a minnow, but I mean, you also do grubs and all sorts. Actually, that Nico was pretty badass.
Dude, the free faller is one of my favorites. I love the little tails on it.
Yeah, that thing is.
You don't see that a whole lot.
Here, I'll show that one real quick. Yeah, I showed it earlier. That's that one, right? That might be good because you can like. Oh. You can scope it, not scope it, pond fish it, bank fish it, out of the back of the boat, 100%. Out of the front of the boat.
Yep. I even had it on a 2-aught Texas rig drop shot the other day. Killed him on it.
All right, take it easy, Logan. I appreciate the time.
Thank you.
You seem like, I mean, dude, like multiple people have said it, like, man, the industry is in good hands, and it's really cool to see guys like you who go above and beyond. And I mean, you're 22 and you're actually living out your dream right now. I'm sure you might realize it, but you'll look back on it and be like, damn, I did a lot of stuff. And at the time, it just seems like you're grinding, trying to get to the next, but like you're doing it, man. And it's impressive as hell.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate the opportunity to get on here. So,
all right. See ya.
Awesome. See you, man.
All right. I did not run any ads yesterday, so I'm going to run a couple ads. When we come back, we'll talk about what we have the rest of the week and then what we have next week. BTL on a Tuesday. We'll be back right after this.
Before there were hashtags, there were handshakes and shared stories. They gave us confidence to make our first cast and chase our dreams. They taught us to fish, and in the process, taught us about life. They taught us that success isn't just about reaching the top. It's about lifting others up. The future isn't just about selling tackle. It's about 3 simple words. Let's go fishing. Here's to the original influencers.
Pro Bass Adventures is reinventing Mexico bass fishing. With boats equipped with 12-inch Garmin units and LiveScope Plus, free loaner fishing rods, and no-cost airport transportation, Pro Bass Adventures is proudly putting you in the best position for success. Pro Bass Adventures has lodges on Lake Baccarat and Lake El Salto, Mexico's 2 best trophy largemouth bass lakes. Visit probassadventures.com or email probassadventures@gmail.com. The official Mexico fishing lodge of Bass Talk Live.
When I'm in a tournament, conditions are constantly changing and every second matters. With the Deep Dive app, I can instantly pull up all the current lake conditions all in one spot. So no more looking at weird government websites. In just one quick glance, I have water clarity, water level, wave forecast. It's all right there in the Deep Dive app. Download the Deep Dive app and get all the tools you need to put together an awesome tournament.
All right, cool shows this week. If you didn't catch John Bondi yesterday, it's funny. He was like, yeah, I'm on all this stuff. And they're like, what do you mean you're a bass guy back in the day? because he's like the goat of musky bait designs right now with the Bondi bait. And then he was on this, and we were talking about the bass and saying now he's a musky guy. But he had some really good ideas up there in Windsor, where he calls home of the OHL Spitfires, great junior hockey program with a rich tradition. And then today, Logan Greeno from Nebraska coming in talking about a really cool journey from, I mean, he's doing what he wanted to do since he was in middle school when he was detasseling corn so he could get the first boat. Now he's doing content out of that boat. So Rick Harris, tomorrow we're going to get on the water. I don't know, we might try to film some stuff. I've got all of my belongings where he's bringing his boat, because obviously I have an unrigged boat, so I have all of my belongings in the garage in a pile. Kind of depends on what we do. We have a couple options. I haven't talked with them about that. We may go frog heavy pads. Yes, there's some lakes in Oklahoma where you can go frog heavy pads. Or we might go minnow high thermocline floaters. Or we might go koiki shallow brush pile fish. Or we might jerkbait and koiki suspended timber bass. I'm going to kind of leave it up to him on where we go, but we're going to be off the water by 11 since it's going to be about 110. So, all right, that's all we got for today. If you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel and you just watch it, you have to do like a Google account to get it. But when you click subscribe, then you can click the bell. Then that allows you, lets you know, when I go live at different or odd times and you want to catch it live, like in the evening, then when it's not just Monday through Thursday at 8:30 a.m. Central Time. I would assume that benefits me in some way if I have more subscribers. I've been told that. I'm not exactly sure how. Subscriber ratio. Anyway. Also, on iTunes, if you haven't left a review there, that I know does, because I take those reviews, and that goes to quarterly stuff with the sponsor. So if you like what you're seeing, what you're hearing on BTL, greatly appreciate the support. Also, go follow Logan Greeno on all of his social media accounts. He puts out really good stuff. It's also funny too. He does some funny stuff on there too. So that's all we got for today. We will talk to everybody tomorrow evening. See ya.